Hello everybody and welcome to another special video with myself, Steve-O. Guess where I am? Yep, in fact I just realised I can spin a camera around. So what I'll do, my little quaint little village. It's not even a village, it's just like in the middle of nowhere. A tiny little graveyard. I was just driving past it and I thought, do you know what? To hell with it, it's quiet, no humans around. I can just easily just come in here and do the, for everybody that cares about my score predictions, which they probably will now after calling the Newcastle game. In all seriousness, let's talk about yesterday. Now I've had a bit of time to reflect on what actually happened that day, and I still can't get my head around the fact that what happened actually happened. Just absolutely bizarre circumstances where I knew going into the game that before seeing the team news, all I was thinking is Jacob Murphy. Good old Jacob Murphy, not Joe Murphy, good old Jacob Murphy. All I was thinking is, please don't start, please don't start, please don't start. And then for the rest of the game, I'd be thinking, don't come on, even though I knew he would come on for at least 20 minutes. And then to see him start, and here's Steve Harmison, terrible pundit on TalkSport. He's not even a pundit, is he? Ex-cricketer, saying that he'll be in the front three for Newcastle, and then seeing the formation, and he's on the right-hand side, on the side of Isaac, and then on the other side was Willock. I thought, all right then, can Jacob Murphy actually do something? And then we all know what happened. I'm not going to lie, I've been kind of milking it. There's that again, Harbour Boy. I've been kind of milking it for a bit of fun on Twitter and everything. I'd like to think people see the funny side of it. Because let's get real here, there have been a few people that actually understand the context of what actually happened that day, and the fact that, look, the reality of the situation is that when it comes to fantasy football, most people that are part of the elite FPL community understand that when it comes to luck and the FPL gods being on my side, it never happens. Never ever happens. There's been many a stream where I've had to literally sit through utter garbage and seeing every other player come through, barring my logical differential. And yet, ironically, because Maddison, who would have been a bit of a differential this week because most people got rid of him, was ill, which meant that I get Jacob Murphy off the bench. I still find it ironic that Nico Williams scored as well, but anyway, that's beside the point. The fact that Jacob Murphy came off the bench, and not only did he score once, scoring twice and 2 bonus points, it is just, in the mini leagues, has just shot me up the ranks. It's crazy. I think Isaac, what was it again? Isaac, Murphy and Kane got me 32 points yesterday, and obviously Murphy coming through with his 15 was ginormous. It's huge from a differential perspective, and yeah, it's just now a case of, can I build on that with the midweek fixtures that start tomorrow, and then moving into the double game week where, like I said, I know Blonde and our man Dylan have already planned for the wildcard 33, bench boost 34, and like I said, I think personally they're in a bit of a dilemma, because these guys are going to be loading up on Man United, who are absolutely shattered, Brighton, who they will be shattered, and spoiler alert, they'll be losing to Nottingham Forest. They're doing nothing against Nottingham Forest. You've then got Man City, well, load up on them, fine. But most people have Man City triple up anyway. And these guys will be, they may have one Arsenal player, one Newcastle player. But if you're going to be bench boosting in double game week 34, you're going to be looking at, like I said, Liverpool, Man United, Man City and Brighton. Okay. But Liverpool, their fixtures, they're all right from a attacking perspective, but I'm already predicting that Blonde and Armandin are going to go with Jota, Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So that's the 3 in their wild card already. Then in Man City, it's Haaland. So that's 4 players. Then it'll be Diaz, John Stones, Ake. But Ake's injured, so it'll be one of those 2. That's 5. Probably Grealish / Mahrez. That's 6. That's 6 players already from 2 teams, obviously. Man United, it will be, well, do I go with their defence? Well, knowing them 2, they'll go with Shaw. So that's 7. Rashford, 8. So that's 8 players, because I don't think they'll triple up on them on Man United. And then Brighton, they'll probably get another 2. So that's up to 10, which leaves 5 spots. Well, you've got to fit 5 top-end quality players where, like Jason's experienced, like I've experienced, it's going to be very difficult to predict which player to bring on. So if they do even get the likes of Trippier, Ben White, Saka, Martinelli, that's 4. So you've got 1 more spot left. So which 5th player out of all the decent teams left are you going to go for? I mean, I can't even think of a player off the top of my head that you'd even consider for a 5th spot, but it's going to be the goalkeeper, isn't it? So Johnston. It's all fucking obvious what these people are going to be doing as a wild card, but their advantage is the fact that, yeah, right, you get to play bench boost in game week 34, fine. But you're also bringing in players which the majority of your rivals, etc., have got. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that they have no advantage whatsoever. In fact, I would say that they've got a very good advantage. But my point being is that what players are going to be they bringing in that are going to be such like this, oh my god moment where it's like, I never expected you to bring that. And in fact, I bet you just now I've pretty much named the players they're going to be bringing in. So, I'm not not saying this from a big-headed point of view. I'm just making the statement that yeah, the pair of them do worry me regarding the strategy they've got. But I've got enough players, along with the likes of Jason, Dread FPL, and so on. This is the moderator league, by the way. And even Harbour Boy, where it's like, well, I'm not feeling threatened, per se. It's just that they've just got a big advantage, that's it, really. Because this specific game week 33, Man United's fixture against Tottenham is horrific. So they're going to have 3 Man United players in that game, give or take. Man City's fixture against Arsenal, right, that's a piece of piss. Spoiler alert, they're going to be battering Arsenal. You then got, who else is there on the Brighton away at Nottingham Forest? Not a single one of their players is going to do anything. And then Liverpool away at West Ham, all right, I'm predicting that to be quite high scoring personally. And yeah, I think that I think that their advantage is mainly going to be the bench boost in double game week 34 rather than this game week 33. Yes, all right, the other 4 or 5 players that they could be bringing in, maybe that difference in gaining advantage, which is very, very true. And yeah, this game week does worry me for the likes of Blonde and Armand Dillon potentially catching me. But like I said, the majority of players that I've got, I'm very happy with anyway. The only downside to my team is that I've got no Arsenal. No Arsenal at all. But then again, they're away at Man City where, like I said, they're going to get battered. So, but yeah, certainly I know with the YouTube chat league, it's extremely tight. I have got none of the information at hand whatsoever, but I did take a brief look at it this morning. That's very, very tight. The members league, Harry, is just dominating. I've said this once, I've said it twice, I've said it a billion times. Please win the fucking game. 202nd in the world. Let me reiterate this. FPL Harry is 202nd in the world. Fucking mad. Absolutely mad. I'm just going to go for a quick walk. What, up around the thing? Yeah. But of course I've decided to take everything out of my fucking bag. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I really do hope that Harry ends up winning the game, and if he doesn't, then at least get into as close as possible. And I know I'm stating the fucking obvious. I know that. But getting as close to winning the game as possible, so maybe even ending up in a double-digit rank. Imagine that, like 76th in the world or something, which is just to think. Could you imagine being in that situation? And even from his point of view, being in that situation and creating content like he does, it's fucking nuts. To be completely honest, it's absolutely fucking crazy at the fact that he's in a situation where he can go along and just continue doing what he's doing and potentially get all the way as far as, like I said, like 50th or whatever. I don't know how many points it is between him and top spot, but certainly I would like to think that it's not too much of a major situation where has to change his game up a bit. I know that obviously he's used up the majority of his chips and everything, but certainly from his perspective, he just has to continue doing what he would normally do, as patronising as that does sound. And yeah, just good luck to the fucker is what I say. But yeah, he's like 100 points clear of second spot in the Members League. I know the Rivals League's very, very tight as well. I see John Harris. Funny enough, I did mention him in the Saturday stream, I think it was, asking about where he is, because I haven't seen him on the live stream for a while, but he actually put a comment on the video yesterday. So nice to see he's all right. And I say all right, he put a comment. But in all seriousness, yeah, John Harris is now second, I believe, in one of the leagues. Is it the YouTube league or whatever the fucking league it is? Like I say, I've got none of the information at hand per se. And yeah, it's like I say, it's been a really interesting last few game weeks in the Elite FPL community. And you know, we have got only, 5 game weeks left, including tomorrow. And I think most people are in the same boat, apart from Blonde and Harbour Boy, Armand Dillon. And I think that most are just going to stick to their guns and go with pretty much the team that they've got, and then have 2 free transfers for game week 34, and then do a -8, a -12. I'm personally looking at doing a -8 at most, a -8 at most, and then it's bringing in pretty much the players that most have anyway. It's just, do I trust Liverpool enough? I don't know. I've already got a plan at home. The plan is written down at home, but I've kind of changed my mind on certain individuals, and I think that maybe I could be going with different players from what the plan is, because the ones on the plan I don't think are going to be that great an option. But again, we've still got, well, 6 days until the next game week, which is fucking brilliant. Anyhow, on to game week 33, where I'm not going to lie, I'm not really blown away by these specific fixtures. Nothing really stands out apart from one game where I generally do think it sadly could be an absolute hammering. Could be. And that is the title match between Man City and Arsenal. We'll get onto that in a minute, but most of these games I'm just like, nah. So let's crack on with it. We kick off with Wolves versus Crystal Palace. Wolves don't lose at home. Crystal Palace have turned around of late underneath Roy Hodgson. I personally think these two are just going to cancel each other out, and I'm going to go with a 1-1. But here's the thing, like I said, most people are reverting back to their original team, so they probably don't even have Johnson in their team anyway. But yeah, I'm going 1-1. History, on the other hand, is going 2-0. Crystal Palace have won 4 times against Wolves. There's been 5 clean sheets across the last 6. However, of the last 6 fixtures, 5 of them the home team have won, and it's been 2-0. So really, it's pointing in. Well, that wouldn't surprise us with Wolves kind of doing pretty well at home at the moment. So 1-0 Wolves. But yeah, the history's going 2-0 to Wolves. Free scoring Aston Villa, albeit they weren't exactly free scoring against Brentford, and by all accounts Brentford were by far the better team. Up against the Fulham team, who are pretty much on the beach. I expect a professional job from Aston Villa. I think they're going to ease past Fulham. I think it's going to be like a 2-0. 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. Although the history is suggesting a 2-1 victory to Fulham. Maybe even potentially a 3-1 to Aston Villa. We'll explain why in a minute regarding the history, because the last 3, a team has won by scoring 3 goals, and 2 of those were by Aston Villa. I think it's like 2 3-1s and a 3-0. However, Fulham, though, have won 4 against Aston Villa in the last 6. And of those last 3 fixtures where a team has scored 3 goals, the home team has actually won. So like I said, I'm pretty sure it's 3-0 to Fulham, 3-1 to Aston Villa. I think the other game was 3-1 to Aston Villa as well. So yeah, it could be quite a high scoring. So any Ollie Watkins owners out there could be pretty confident that they could get something. But like I said, I think 1 or 2-0 to Aston Villa. Leeds Leicester. Have Leicester turned it around? I don't think so. But I think they've got enough to beat Leeds. Leeds are fucking terrible. And I think Dean Smith will be hammering it home to his players that we can take advantage of Leeds at the moment. I don't care it's at Ellen Road. We can take advantage of this. And I think that Leicester are going to win this by their favourite scoreline, 2-1. The history, though, is going 1-0 to Leicester. Leicester have won 4 out of the last 6. The last 2 fixtures have ended to 0, albeit at their home ground. But yeah, I expect Leicester just to come through this. If you're doing the accumulator, the next match is about as a home banker as you get. It's Nottingham Forest against Brighton. Brighton coming off the back of that disappointing 0-0 with Man United, and then of course going out on penalties. Even though Brighton like to play away from home, the way Nottingham Forest are at the moment, I think they're nicking this 1-0, 2-0. I just don't see Brighton scoring in this, so I'm going 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. History, though, it's going 3-0 Nottingham Forest. 3 times a team has scored 3 goals in this particular fixture, and 4 times of the last 6 the home team has kept a clean sheet. So the history is suggesting a clean sheet to the home team. The next fixture, it's very rare that the history and I agree on the same result, but it's West Ham versus Liverpool, and I'm thinking this could be quite a high-scoring game, potentially. I'm seeing here 2-2, 3-1 either way. 3-1 more in Liverpool's favour. I'm seeing a victory more in Liverpool's favour, but genuinely I think that there's a very good chance that West Ham could take advantage of Liverpool's appalling form and maybe nick it. But I'm personally going 3-2 to Liverpool. History's going 3-2 to Liverpool. 3 times Liverpool have actually scored 3 against West Ham. 2 of the games have been a 3-2. 1 of them being to West Ham, 1 of them to Liverpool. 5 out of the last 6 the home team has won, although 4 of them, of those 5, have actually been at Anfield. Although the last 2 against West Ham, both at Anfield, have ended 1-0 to Liverpool. Chelsea-Brentford. Two teams out of form at the moment. Brentford are scoring goals, but they're not winning that many games. Chelsea, on the other hand, at home are absolutely fucking abysmal. I am actually going in favour of Brentford because I think they'll be up for the game, and I think that this will be the type of game that they'll essentially be up for it. I'm personally going 2-1 to Brentford. But honestly, if it was to end 1-1, 2-2, but Chelsea can't score, so maybe even a 0-0. So yeah, 0-0, 1-1, something like that. That's a better camera angle, isn't it? It's a bit more clearer. But yeah, 0-0, 1-1, maybe even a 2-2, but something like that. I just putting it in favour of Brentford because I just think that Tony's want to prove that maybe he could be the next Chelsea striker at 50 million, 60 million pound. History though saying 4-0 to Chelsea. Chelsea have won twice 4-0 against Brentford, and on 3 occasions a team has scored 4 goals. Chelsea twice and Brentford once in a 4-1 win. The last 4 away fixtures, the away team hasn't lost, albeit Chelsea were 3 of those games. Let me move on to the Championship match, where it's Man City at home to Arsenal. And sadly, Dan and any other Arsenal fans here, I think that it's going to be an absolute mauling. I do fear that this could be getting into the embarrassing stages where it could be 3, 4, 5 goals. I think Arsenal have got a goal in them. I'm going 3-1 to Man City. History's going 3-0. 3 times Man City have won 0 across the last 6. During this fixture, in the last 6, Arsenal have actually received 2 red cards. There's a chance that there could be a red card in this. And the Man City have scored 16 goals against Arsenal. 16 goals across the last 6, including, I think it was 5-0 at home. God, the next fixture though, Jesus Christ, on Thursday I think it is Southampton, Bournemouth. I've gone both teams to cancel each out. 1-1. Fucking dire game. History though is going 3-0 to Bournemouth. 4 times, on 4 occasions across the last 6, a team has scored 3 goals, including a 3-3. And in the last 4 fixtures, the away team has won, so maybe Bournemouth could be winning this. Yeah, I know Southampton's home record is shambles this season, so maybe Bournemouth. And Solanke owners, you know, you missed out this weekend. Maybe this is the time. And then finally we end on, oh no, sorry, we've got 2 more games left. Everton, Newcastle. I think I've gone 2-1 to Newcastle, but honestly, 1-0 either way. 2-0 Newcastle. The history's going 2-0 though. I'm going 2-1. Newcastle on 4 occasions have scored 2 or more against Everton. And there's been 3 clean sheets across the last 6. Although the last 2 fixtures between these two have ended 1-0 to the home team. So maybe Everton may get that 1-0. Because Newcastle always seem to concede a really sloppy goal. But I just think they've got enough to get past Everton in this fixture. And finally, here's the final game. Tottenham versus Man United. These 2 teams at the moment are shot. Man United have got no players playing whatsoever. They've got a makeshift back 5-4. Their midfield, you've got no Fernandes, I doubt will be playing this week. Mark Goldbridge said he doesn't look like he'll play either. I think it'd be a bit of a mistake if he does. Rashford's not looking fit. Martial just isn't in form at the moment, albeit I know this is his 3rd or 4th game back, but you can't be relying on him at the moment. Sancho's a waste of space. Anthony puts in the effort, but he can't get a shot on target. So Off the top of my head, I'm going with 0-0. I'm just going to go 1-1 because both teams are so shit at the moment defensively that I just think that, because Man United away from home as well are pretty poor. I just think they cancel each other out because Tottenham are pretty good at home. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Tottenham were to come out on top of this, but I just think after the weekend, 1-0 Tottenham. I've gone 1-0, but yeah, 1-0 Tottenham. If there is a winner, I do think it will be Tottenham. So, Brew, if you're listening, I think you'll probably be coming out of White Hart Lane thinking, why couldn't we put in this performance against Newcastle? Because I would not be shocked if it came out to be 1-2, 3-0 to Tottenham. I really would not be shocked at all if that's what happened. Harry Kane to score against his future employees. Although the history's going 3-1 to United. The last 4 Man United have won. 3 of those occasions they've scored 3 goals. The 2 aways of the last 4, 3-0 and 3-1 to Man United. But yeah, truthfully, if there is a winner in that game, I think it's easily in favour of Tottenham, personally. Yeah, I just, like I said, I think this game week just falls in the middle of a really fascinating free hit game week, and then in between a big double game week. And people are just kind of like, meh, with this one, because I think most aren't going to be doing anything with their teams. I'm certainly not. My team is pretty much exactly as it was in game week 31. Captain Haaland, done. Happy days. But yeah. Next time I will see you probably will be on Friday for a reflection on what happened and score predictions and all that malarkey. And there'll be, I don't think there'll be a soccer Saturday, but there'll be a soccer Sunday, because on Sunday, was it 5 games? I think it's 5 games are being played on. There we are for Dan. That's for Dan. That the Steam's room. I think there's 5 games on Sunday, so I'll be covering that because they're all kicking off at 2 o'clock, I believe, 4 or 5 games. So yeah, but yeah, next time we'll be on Friday, pretty much, unless something extreme happens over the next few days, which is very, very unlikely. On that note, cheers all, and speak to you soon.